I don't know what weapons the Third World War will use, but one know that the Fourth World War will use sticks and stones. That quote is from Albert Einstein, one of the most prominent scientists in the world. In the history of humanity, he went through the two bloodiest wars of humanity, the First and Second World Wars, so he was very aware of the painful losses and after the last years of Einstein's life. Always fearing another war on a global scale will happen again. The Third World War, a war of the greatest powers, and nuclear weapons will be used and people will push each other to the brink of destruction. In the years after the end of World War II, the seeds of a Third World War were always threatening to appear. That is the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union, that is the competition with China. In its hegemonic position, NATO's expansion to the east has caused Russia to take military action, and most recently, the 60-year-long conflict between Israel and Palestine has flared up again, leading to many conflicts. International concern. So in the end, if World War III breaks out, what will happen to humanity? Let's find out through the following video. So why has war always happened throughout human history? Conflicts of interest between ethnic groups, religions, groups of people competing for mutual influence and to a certain extent cannot be resolved by means of negotiation, forcing war to occur. It is also caused by the ambition of a few individuals who have drawn many others to participate in battles to satisfy their goals. Throughout the history of mankind, has never stopped until today. Constantly, somewhere in this world, there are wars breaking out, causing damage to physical facilities, the economy, and especially human life. Although there are many wars, large-scale wars have occurred in early defeats until modern times, but there have only been two wars worthy of being called world wars, drawing millions of people from dozens of countries into the vortex, leaving heavy consequences not only on people but also on the spirit of many generations. World War I occurred from 1914 to 1918, World War II occurred from 1939 to 1945, both wars are all plots to compete and desire to achieve the ambition of world domination of the First World, causing severe and devastating consequences. About 1.5 billion people were caught in the ring of smoke and fire. 10 million people died. Over 20 million people were injured. Asia's economies were devastated. Many cities, villages, roads, bridges, factories were destroyed, and World War II was even more terrible. This was the bloodiest conflict in the history of humanity. The loss of life amounted to 70 to 80 million people, with the number of civilians dying more than soldiers. Tens of millions of people had to die in genocidal massacres. Lack of food or because of illness. At the end of this war, the United States dropped 2 atomic bombs on the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, killing tens of thousands of civilians. The effects of radiation remained for many generations. Generations after wars always bring pain to no matter the winner or loser. After the Second Regime, with the establishment of the United Nations and human peace organizations, they will sit down and shake hands to silence each other. Gunfire, but soon the Cold War broke out between the two largest superpowers, the Soviet Union and the United States. It was not as fierce as the two world wars, but it was a strong arms race in a war. The mandate of these two countries to other regions of the world was during the Korean War and especially the Vietnam War, which haunted many people not only in these two countries but also in many other countries. The world's nations and people are always afraid of the prospect of World War III breaking out not long after the other two world wars, and tolerance reached its limit with the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962. The Cold is reaching its peak. The two superpowers, the Soviet Union and the United States, are racing to acquire nuclear weapons, terrible weapons capable of destroying the whole world. America has built many military bases in Europe, located in countries like Turkey, can launch missiles from these positions to the capital Moscow and many other important cities to retaliate for this threat. The Soviet Union carried a series of missiles with nuclear warheads. Important cities to retaliate for this threat. The Soviet Union carried a series of missiles with nuclear warheads to Cuba, America's neighbor in the Caribbean Sea. After the Cuban Revolution won victory in 1959, the country followed the path of socialism. The United States considered it an act of treason and severed diplomatic relations with the United States. In this Latin American country, in the early morning of September 14, 1962, a U.S. reconnaissance plane discovered the first trace of the presence of a Soviet medium-range missile base in La Habana according to experts' calculations. If war breaks out in just 5 minutes, America will have 8 million people gone at the same time. Missiles in Europe will be ready. Pointed directly at Moscow and surrounding areas, the whole world is holding its breath at the risk of a potential nuclear war. As Mr. Einstein once said, if World War III breaks out, nuclear weapons will be used. The entire world would be flattened and humans would return to the Stone Age. Fortunately, that did not happen. The leaders of the US and the Soviet Union agreed to withdraw their missiles and solve everything by human means. Peace negotiations, and at this time all humanity breathed a sigh of relief. The world had also escaped other full-scale wars that followed. But the risk of a third world war never went away. Why is it like this? So that's because the conflict between the West and the East never ends. Western countries, led by the United States, always want to control the whole world and put everything under their control. Of course, with other powers like Russia, the successor of the Soviet Union, and China, the rising dragon, will never accept that scenario, and many small wars everywhere can spread out to become a world war. The first hot spot there is. The main reason is that the countries sandwiched between Russia and the West are a series of Eastern European countries such as Ukraine, Latvia, Lithuania, Belarus, Estonia, and Finland in Northern Europe, which will be the battleground where most of the conflicts between the US and Russia's allies will collide. These countries have joined the US-led North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and of course Russia does not leave it alone. When the border is threatened, war has occurred in this area and it is difficult to know how it will spread. How large is the potential second battlefield? The Middle East region, where there has long been a religious conflict between Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, the main focus is the relationship between Israel and Israel. Palestine. The reason is that in 1948 the West supported the establishment of the State of Israel, the main reason being the desire to return to the homeland of tens of thousands of exiled Jews around the world who wanted a homeland. A separate country recognized internationally after 1,000 years of bitterness and sadness, and in the end, the Jews were satisfied, but the place they called their homeland was the place where Muslim Palestinians were born. For a long time, they believed that the returning Jews had stolen their land, and especially the holy city of Jerusalem, revered by many religions, and the recently reopened conflict between Hamas and Israel has shown this problem. It is difficult to deal with the thousands of civilians who have shed blood, and the violence is escalating. The third potential battlefield is the Asia-Pacific region, which seems to involve a rising power. China and the United States is concerned. Fearing that this dragon would threaten its hegemonic position, it sought every way to surround it with a series of allies such as Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and the Philippines, but China would definitely want to break the siege in influencing the whole world. They are targeting even remote areas such as Africa and Latin America, which are considered the backyard of the West and the United States, and sooner or later these two players will also confront each other. A fierce battle and the risk of a third world war is present. The United States itself benefited greatly from two bloody world wars in the 20th century. They are far from the main battlefields in Europe and Asia. The country was not ravaged by war, and the United States earned a lot of money from selling weapons to warring parties, causing many prominent scientists to migrate to the United States to escape and contribute. Build America as strong as it is today. But if the third world happens, perhaps Americans will smell gunpowder close to their border. Russia and China are joining hands and influencing each other in their backyard. Of the United States in the Latin America region, the situation and soft powers of the United States such as the dollar, economic and military cooperation with allies are being sought to be broken by Russia and China. Then a situation of the three kingdoms will happen in the future, or will Russia and China decide to join hands to the end to overthrow the hegemonic throne of the United States? Recently, Vice Chairman of the Russian Security Council Dmitry Medvedev warned about a third world war will occur if the West does not remove its hostile attitudes. An interesting question is that if a third world war breaks out, where is the safest place to be, with some options? And most of it is located in remote places and on islands. The first is the remote Nordic country. This country is geographically far away from major powers that can bring the dangers of a global conflict. Bridges such as America, North Korea, Russia, and Iran. Similarly, in the Northern Hemisphere, there is New Zealand, which has an isolated island location with many resources and can be economically autonomous in case of isolation. In addition, it is possible including Switzerland Island and some Nordic countries. However, because Europe has always been the main location where the First and Second World Wars took place, it is difficult for this place to be absolutely safe. After all, no one wants war to happen, which is a tragic scene that millions of families will face. Being separated, the physical and mental consequences will be extremely severe and will last for a long time. No one will truly win because the price to pay is too high. The whole world is holding its breath. The future will answer, but humanity still remains. I hope a third world war will never happen. Thank you for watching the video. For now, hello and see you again.